All right, let's learn a little bit more about the AFC East. We are doing a little preview yearbook style. If it works, it was all my idea. If it doesn't, I had nothing to do with it. I'm just kidding. I had nothing to do with it, whether it works or doesn't work, but I like it. It's different. It's not the usual, oh, tell me this, tell me that. So, Division Clown, last place, a.k.a. Class Clown. Although the Class Clown tries to be bad. In this context, you're not trying. Who's going to be bad despite the fact that they're trying to be good?
Uh, it pains me to say it, but it will be the New England Patriots. They're going to work their butts off. They're going to change the culture. They're going to do all the good stuff, but they will be the worst team in the AFC East, and it might be by a lot. We'll see how it works out, but it could be by a lot.
Yeah, I hate to say it as well, and it's weird to think how the mighty have fallen, but this is what happens when one of the all-time great quarterbacks is long gone, one of the all-time great coaches is long gone, and the cupboard is kind of bare. Now, I had people reaching out to me defending Bill Belichick when some of these contract extensions were done. Oh, I thought Bill didn't know how to find players. They extended this guy, they extended that guy. Yeah, let's have a conversation about Juju Smith-Schuster if we want to talk about that, okay? Because they should have kept Jacoby Myers and not signed Juju Smith-Schuster, and you don't need to answer that. Bottom line, I don't want to put you in that spot, but the bottom line is, and this isn't necessarily that the Patriots are going to be horrible. Look at the division. You got the Bills. You got the Dolphins. And as long as Aaron Rodgers plays more than 4 snaps, which isn't a guarantee, but as long as he does, the Jets are going to be good too. So there's a lot of teams you could put in the AFC East as the 4th team, and they could otherwise be contenders elsewhere, and they aren't contending for anything in that division.
Yeah, and again, I was a guy last March when they let Jacoby go. I was on a radio station. I was like, this is the wrong move. Jacoby Myers, he fit everything. So you don't got to put me in a spot. I agree with you 100%. But yeah, I think in this situation, remember the Patriots split with the Jets last year without Aaron Rodgers. They still split that matchup with whatever we thought the Jets were last year. So you keep a healthy Aaron Rodgers. I just don't see it happening for them. I think they'll surprise some people and maybe win a game or two in this division, because I think that's just how division games go. Somebody's not really ready to go yet, and you kind of sneak. They beat Buffalo last year at home, which shocked a lot of people. So maybe they get 1, maybe 2 of those games, but overall, like, they might come off those first 4 weeks 0-4. I've been in the locker room before. Like, when you start a season like that, and you have like that's tough to come back from. It's hard to say, hey guys, we're going to win our next 5. Like, you don't envision that. So yeah, it's going to be tough sledding all season for the Patriots.
All right, next category, a little twist on the traditional. This is most unlikely to succeed. We'll do most likely to succeed later. Most unlikely to succeed, but will nevertheless. What do you got?
It's hard to say this because they've won the division the last 4 years, but I think Buffalo. I think everyone now has moved on towards Aaron Rodgers is healthy. The Jets are there, and I would say I'm still one of those guys that think that they probably should be the favorite in this division. Buffalo lost some guys. Then Matt Milano, I had as a guy that I thought would come back and be, hey, he's going to come back, and this is going to really get this defense going. He gets hurt now. You lose Micah Hyde. You lose Jordan Poyer. Tre'Davious White leaves. Like, you have all these guys who leave. Stephon Diggs leaves. I think everyone's like, all right, well, Buffalo had their time. But I think maybe we see this year that Josh Allen goes and he gets MVP of the league, and we see this team really take off. Like, it would surprise some people, but it wouldn't surprise me if this team put it all together now and had that year that everyone was expecting them to have the last couple of years and really storm this division. I think people are kind of writing them off, and they can go and do that this season possibly.
Yeah, I mean, mine is the same as yours, but it is specific to the passing game, because that's the thing that most people would point to and say, oh, how are they going to succeed? Gabe Davis left. Stephon Diggs got traded. Well, Stephon Diggs wasn't doing much anything once Joe Brady became the offensive coordinator, so it's not a huge loss to move on from a guy who was wide open underneath on that 3rd down when Josh Allen muscled it into the end zone and got hit as he was letting it go right before the field goal they missed that basically ended their chance of beating the Chiefs and advancing to the AFC Championship. Diggs was wide open, and he didn't throw it to him. Losing Diggs is not something that the Bills will rue. This is something they'll move on from. And I like the idea of not having a true number one. We've talked about this recently in the context of the Packers. We've said it before in the context of the Bills. I go back to when Matthew Stafford had his first year post Calvin Johnson. It puts the quarterback fully in charge of the offense, and he can throw to the open man. He's not staring down the guy that he feels like he needs to throw the ball to 80% of the time. I'm going to throw to who's open. I'm going to make my reads. I'm not going to just wait or throw into double coverage because I don't want to hear it in the huddle or on the sideline about how my top receiver isn't getting the ball as much as he wants it. I think that's to the benefit of Josh Allen and the Bills. With a low bar, with low expectations, that passing game can be better than anyone imagined.
The only time that comes up that I think it hurts you is the third downs, the key moments in the game where you have to get a play. And we saw with Kirk Cousins, you play in Buffalo, it's 4th and 18, you need a play. Yeah, Justin Jefferson's double team, and I get it. That catch was ridiculous. But there's a feeling about you when you know you have a guy that you can go to when the game matters the most. I think that's the thing. But I think when you do have those star-studded receivers, those number ones, I think you need a strong personality at offensive coordinator who knows how to draw plays to get to that guy and also is very willing to tell that guy, hey, we need to win football games. You're going to get yours. We're going to have 15, 20 plays designed for you every week. But within the game, when we start playing, like this guy has to throw the ball to the open guy.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. And maybe one of these guys is going to develop into a reliable target. Maybe rookie Keon Coleman can get it done. If his play matches his personality, maybe he'll win Offensive Rookie of the Year. All right, Offensive King, the offensive MVP from the AFC East. Who do you have?
I talked about this Sunday. He's a guy I picked to kind of really show the world is Garrett Wilson. I think you watch Garrett Wilson, it's been up and down with a bunch of different quarterbacks, and somehow he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's been a guy who continues to show up. Last year, they played a bunch of different quarterbacks that we all watched and was like, this is not it. As much as people want to beat up on Zach Wilson, some of the guys they put in after Zach Wilson was even worse, and Garrett Wilson still delivered. So I think a healthy Aaron Rodgers gives him a chance to be at his best. You watch the joint practice, some of the clips against the Giants, you watch some of the training camp practice. Like Garrett Wilson looked like he was all over the field, deep throws, short throws. So I look for him to have a big year this year. Who you got?
I look at it this way. Tyreek Hill, right? When you're the king, what do you got? You got the crown, you got the throne, you got the scepter. Is it a scepter? That big old golden stick. So somebody's got to come take that scepter and whack him over the head with it and knock him out of the throne. It's Tyreek Hill until further notice. Now, wrong side of 30, but he's still the best player on the team. That's what made the Tua contract so weird. $53 million for Tua. But clearly your most important player is Tyreek Hill. He makes that offense go. He's the king until someone dethrones him.
I like it, but you can we double Tyreek Hill teams? Like if you play Miami, double Tyreek Hill, make them throw the ball to somebody else. And I know Jalen Waddle is a good player. I think this is the year where Tyreek Hill slips a little bit. It doesn't mean that he's not going to have a big year, but it just, I can't imagine that they let him in this offense do exactly what he wants to do a whole nother year. I can't see it happening.
And look, Jalen Waddle, they gave him that big contract. I think that at some level they see a transition coming where Waddle becomes 1 and Hill, for as long as he's there, is 2, if he can even handle being 2. I don't know that he can handle being 2.
Yeah, I don't know
maybe
about
he
that.
goes somewhere else before he drop behind Jalen Waddle. All right, the defensive king in the AFC East.
I'm going to go Sauce Gardner. I think the Jets have the best defense in the AFC East, and no matter what, it has to be somebody from the Jets that's going to be the king of the defense. I'm going Sauce Gardner. Love watching this game. I watched Malik Neighbors in training camp, unstoppable. I saw one clip of Sauce Gardner on him, and it made me remember just what makes this guy so good. The long arms, being able to stay with you at the line of scrimmage, but the ability at his size to stay with guys at the top of the route is unbelievable. I'm going Sauce Gardner.
And this is recency bias on my part because I interviewed Quinnen Williams on Friday and he was great and I've always loved him. I'll go Quinnen Williams just because he's the guy, and this is the Chris Sims stat that we can't get the Elias Sports Bureau to officially recognize. F the play up, where you don't get the tackle, you don't get the sack, you don't bat the ball, you don't get an interception, you don't recover a fumble, but you've blown up the interior of the offensive line to the point where all your other guys can go take care of business after that. He's disruptive. He's incredible, and he makes it easier for guys on the back end. Not that Sauce Gardner needs the help. All-pro in each of his first 2 seasons, and if he keeps it up, he'll have a bust in Canton. But I'll go Quinnen Williams. And again, it's clear the Jets have the best defense. I mean, it's amazing to me when you think of how they managed to not completely implode last year without Aaron Rodgers. It's because of the defense. If they can get competent play out of the offense, that in and of itself is enough to propel them, Devin, into Super Bowl contention.
And that's why it's so hard not to pick them to win this division and not to say that they're going to have a chance to be in that last game of the year, because this defense, no matter what, stayed in games, played. Like, there was points in the season where we talked about the Jets possibly making the playoffs, which seemed ridiculous, but it just goes to show how well this defense played. And I think that's what even makes the Hassan Reddick situation harder for Hassan Reddick, because I don't think the Jets defense has a problem saying, hey, like, we never had this guy with us. Like, we'll go play ball. We'll still be a good defense even without him. So I think that's what makes it tough. So, yeah, I look for the Jets to be a pretty good football team and maybe a chance to play in February.
So most likely to succeed, AFC East. Is it the Jets? You were saying some good things about the Bills. Which one do you pick if you pick one?
If I had to pick one, I'm going Jets. I just think I love what you said. I think Josh Allen has a chance to be unlocked and go out there and throw the ball all over the field now. But you have to do that now without a really good player in Stephon Diggs, and you're going to do that against a really good defense in the Jets. So, hey, let's say Keon Coleman becomes a really good player as a rookie. All right, we're gonna go out there. We're gonna put Sauce Gardner on him. All right, let's say Shakir is growing into, who he can be. All right, we're gonna put DJ Reed out there. We're gonna see how he shows up, and then we're gonna have all these different guys. We have the Williams brothers out there terrorizing you. We're gonna do all of that, and now let's see if you beat us. And Buffalo, you took a hit on your defense, and our guy Aaron Rodgers is back, so we should be able to score some points on offense. I think they have the best team on paper, and I think they don't have to see if a lot of new pieces fit. They just need to get Aaron Rodgers for a full season, and they need the guys that they acquire to just be good. They don't need Mike Williams to be this stud receiver. They just need him to be a compliment to Garrett Wilson. They just need Breece Hall to be a good running back and Braylon Allen to be a compliment to Breece Hall. So I just think they have a lot of things working out. Obviously, their offensive line needs to play well this year, but I mean, almost anything is better than what they had last year on the offensive line.
My concern with the Jets, they're pinning a lot of their hopes to guys with injury histories. Tyron Smith, Mike Williams, the 2 new guys they added, the 2 big foundational pieces. And Aaron Rodgers, he's played 4 snaps of regular season football since January of 2023. And they play 3 games between September 9 and September 19. That's a lot to ask for. To expect him to play 17 games at age 40, going on 41, coming off the torn Achilles tendon. And he's still going to be inclined to use the muscles in his lower body to generate acceleration, but some of those ligaments and tendons are going to be saying, hey, dude, you're old. Sorry, you can't do that anymore. And he's going to have to play within himself, and I don't know that he can. There's going to be a sense of urgency. I just feel like the Bills, look, it's almost like the Tyreek thing. They're the Kings. Somebody's got to go take the scepter and whack him over the head with it. And I think the Bills can be better. I think it was toxic last year with Stephon Diggs. I think they should have traded him after whatever that weird thing is that happened in June, and they should have moved on. And it took them a while to get past that, and then they finally did. So there are the odds you can see from DraftKings. The Jets are the favorites, but it's tight. Jets, Bills, and then the Dolphins a little bit behind the Bills. And then to prove our point from earlier, you could put a lot of teams in that spot, and they'd be 25-1. Sorry, Patriots. Just think of this, Devin. If we'd have shown that graphic 6 years ago, it's like the human brain would have refused to process it.
And That's what makes the NFL so great. That's how fast things can change. My whole really 10 years of the NFL, Buffalo was at the bottom of the division. Buffalo was the team really that you knew you were going to beat. The Jets had some up and down years where they had Mark Sanchez come in. They were in an AFC championship game. Miami had years where they competed or they beat us. For a lot of the early part of my career, I think Buffalo beat us maybe one time in 2012. We just kept sweeping them. And then out of nowhere, you get Josh Allen, some things happen. Buffalo's the king of the AFC East. No one has dethroned them yet. But I think the Jets, again, I think the Jets were destined last year, hard knocks, everything. It was so much pressure. This year they get to just play football. I think I would have loved to see Aaron Rodgers get a few snaps in the preseason. I know it's risky, but I just think to get your body back acclimated to playing a game before you go out there in that first real live atmosphere, I would have loved to see it happen just for him to get some of the nervousness out, to get the anxiety going out there playing after coming off an injury. Like I would have loved to see it. I understand the precaution of the whole season is balanced on this guy's body and him staying healthy. But like at some point you got to play football. And I just would have loved to see in the preseason him get a drive or something going out there. And I know they did it last year and it didn't matter overall, but I just think as a player mentally going out there for the first time, those first few snaps are going to be tough.
We made this point yesterday about the Eagles because they didn't play their offensive starters in the preseason. Just go through the process of getting ready to play in a game once to wipe away the memory of the collapse last year. For Aaron Rodgers, like it's a reset because the last time you went through the process of getting ready for a game, what happened? 4 plays in, your season was over. We need a palate cleanser in the preseason to get you ready for week 1.
Okay, you have a chance to win $1 million in the NBC sweepstakes on Yahoo Fantasy. Just download the redesigned Yahoo Fantasy app or go to NBCSports.com/fantasymillion for additional details. What are you waiting for?
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.